Georgia Tech football. That's what I'm talking about. Brent Key joins us from the ATL. Coach, good seeing you again. Hope life's treating you well.
Yeah, what's up, Pack? How are you, man?
I am good. You and I were just BSing during the break about baseball, and you said you're going to go check out the Jackets in Auburn tonight, and you may be able to tap into some of those Danny Halls guys to join that roster you got going down there because they like to rake it, brother. That's your kind of baseball too.
No doubt. Big hitters. They've improved their pitching a lot this year. They got some young kids on the team that are really good players. And funny story. We were playing. After one of our games last year, we got low on running backs, and my man Drew Burris shot me a text and said, "Coach, if you guys lose any more backs, I was going to pop out there on the field and come play running back for you." So.
By the way, he probably could help you somewhere, right? I mean, he's kind of old school, isn't he?
Oh, he's old school. He's nails now. The way he plays in the field. I mean, everybody talks about his hitting now. I mean, his arm in center field is as good as there is.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about your football team. I got to tell you something. College football is changing so much, but I'm jonesing for some football. I mean, basketball is now done. Baseball's rocking. And everybody's taking this spring game thing and kind of morphed it. We were so used to having everybody on TV across the country. Not just an ACC thing; it's a college football thing. But before we get to your team specifically, just the thought process of the spring game and where you think this thing's eventually going to go.
Gosh, I don't know. I don't. I mean, it wastes my time of what I have to do right now to sit there and live in a hypothetical world, man. It would. It's those decisions are so much further, past us as coaches even. I enjoy spring games. Our team enjoys it. They're really looking forward to being out there and getting a chance to compete on Saturday in front of their families, in front of fans. I love it on those Saturdays, being able to get the student body involved and the fan base. And we worked hard here the last couple of years to really get everyone involved, and it's so much fun to see the student body out there. And I wake up in the morning and I get on the golf cart and roll around to the fraternity houses and the different tailgates and stuff and wake them up. And it's a fun time. It's a fun day for us.
Yeah, I no doubt about that. That's the way it should be. As far as your team goes, again, I keep thinking about you and physicality and toughness. And man, we've seen your team kind of morph into this. Can you say, as you're again, you got a front row seat now? Can you say that I know there's work to be done, but do you like where this thing's going? At least where you are up front on both the offensive and defensive line.
Yeah, we got a lot of new guys, and I think that's the thing that really everyone just has to get used to in this day and age of college football. Is the roster is going to turn over, and we had 22 seniors last year, so I think we have 35 or 38 new guys out right now. In those first couple of weeks, you're looking at it and you're saying, man, what's not right? We're soft. We're not playing it the right way, and as it progressed and we came back from spring break, got into our third week and our fourth week, I was really encouraged, but the guys learning how to play the game, learning how to practice. And we've had 2 scrimmages. We went 160 plays each in both of them. And, several other days where we've had 70, 80 live plays, during the week. So I like where this team's going from a physicality standpoint. We still got a ways to go from just learning all the intricacies, on both sides of the line of scrimmage. But we got some really talented young players. They're going to be really good football players for us here at Georgia Tech.
Coach, when you say learn how to practice, how would you describe that to the fan? Because, I've seen it up close. Of course, I've been doing this for a long time. But a lot of folks hear that and don't really understand what's practice, right? No, learning how to practice. How would you define that?
Yeah, there's different modes of practice. We're either walking through, we're live, or we're in a thud mode where everyone wants to stay up. We want to keep everyone up off the ground. To be able to go deep into the season, you have to be able to thud, and it's tackling without taking people to the ground. And it's taken us a few weeks to learn how to do that. These new guys come in and they can walk through and they can play live, but then, learning how to, thud the right way and protect your teammates, but at the same time, not take the play off. So we've made a lot of progress with that, and that's been very encouraging because we've got to learn how to do that to be able to sustain throughout the season.
Yeah, again, reading up on your team because I've not been able to get their front row seat to see anything. The transfer portal is always interesting, right? Because until you see a spring game, you're like, oh, who that? Where'd he come from? But from what I read, guys like Keeman Spalding and Melvin Jordan at the linebacker position, have apparently impressed you. And I'm thinking, man, if you're bringing guys in from a transfer portal who are already making an impact in spring, like those two dudes, especially defensive guys, brag about those guys and anybody else you'd like to at this point in time, because again, it's all kind of a learning process for us.
Yeah, we took a little different approach in the winter in the portal, whereas we wanted guys that had proven production in college, that had shown a path and shown a progression during their college careers. And whether it be on offense, we had the Ivy League Offensive Player of the Year, we had the SoCon Defensive Player of the Year, Brent Manley, and guys from some schools that had played football, not just been a highly touted person and been on the bench at another school. And it's really paid off for us. We've got some guys that are really good football players out there. They're showing up on defense. Matt Alexander's one, next to JJ, doing a really good job. I mentioned Manley. The linebackers, I mean, been really pleased with the linebacking core as a whole this spring. And that's with Kyle even being out, still recovering from surgery. So the back end, I mean, we've got a couple guys on the back end that have made big time contributions to this point. And I mean, we'll probably have 8 to 10 guys on the defensive side, that are they're going to help us this year, and then provide a lot of depth on the special teams. And then receiver wise on the offensive side, we've had some guys come in that are making an impact and helping us. And look, it's part of the game now, and we've got freshmen coming in that we're developing. We've got transfers come in that we're teaching how to play the way we want to play, practice the way we want to play. And there were some big eyes the first couple of weeks when they first went out on the field, and we got in pads and we started doing what we do. But they've gotten accustomed to it now and learning how to do things.
I was talking to Bill O'Brien last week, and we're going back and forth with his team. And I said, I got to brag about the special teams a little bit. We get these kind of conversations. Everybody wants to talk about a quarterback. Well, we know who your QB is. Your backfield's going to be really good. But you got a transfer punter that apparently is just putting on a show. It's not very often I got a tough guy like you going to sit there and talk about punting. But, man, let me tell you something. When you've got him, that dude, that is a weapon.
It changes how you play the game. It really does. I'm not going to brag too much about him. I mean, he's done a great job for us. But I mean, this is the same. Last spring I let Aiden kick a couple 60-plus yard field goals in the scrimmage. So I don't think I'll be doing that again this year. But he just to be able to flip the field, field position, to be able to down a ball inside the 5. We spend a lot of time with our gunner play too. And being able to retrieve those balls and have tight coverage. With the way we play the game, that was a huge piece that we needed, to replace this from last year. And I think we've hit a home run with it.
Do you get a sense offense in front of defense, defense in front of offense, or is it, hey, ask me on a certain day, you may get a different answer?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty balanced camp so far. We scrimmaged last Saturday, and we didn't turn the ball over. I think the big thing, we had one explosive play that was off a missed tackle. Might have been one of the few missed tackles we had. But then we were able to, get inside the, some of the short yardage and goal line situations we had. We were able to execute there. All in all, it's been a pretty well-rounded spring so far. And, that's a good thing. It's you come off one of those scrimmages and you say, well, man, we don't have explosives. Well, that's a good thing for the defensive side. And, Blake Gideon's come in and really hit the ground running, and got those guys, playing with their hair on fire, and they're flying around. I think we've increased our team speed this year, and it's been noticeable in our live competition times we've had this spring.
Coach, every time I've been down there, which was multiple times last year, we'd have Jay Batt on, who I really like. And just the initiatives that are taking place right now at Georgia Tech from a fundraising standpoint, facilities, commitment, the whole thing, there really feels to be a momentum with this athletic program. I mean, I'm not just talking football, too. I'm talking about across the board. And I think you're starting to see it, too, with recruiting. And, again, it's now year 4. You kind of get this thing rolling, and people know who you are and who your staff is. I'm sensing that you feel that same way, because you're doing a great job on the recruiting front. You're obviously hitting the transfer portal and getting key guys to be a participant and being a factor here. So big picture, it feels like, things are good right now at Georgia Tech.
It is, and I can't thank, the job that Jay Batt and really Dr. Cabrera, our president, who's been so on board with us, building these athletic programs and giving us the resources we need and being behind us and just, being at the games and practices and being all for us. And it's been fun. And I told somebody the other day when we started this thing out, a couple years ago, 3 years ago, I think we tried to make this the most non-cool, non-fun, old school, hard work, toughness, discipline, thing that we could possibly do. And shoot, if you don't turn around and all of a sudden now old school's become cool again. And it's they see our guys, the way they play and having fun, and then the momentum like you talked about around all the athletic programs here. It's a fun time to be a Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Listen, I know you're worried about today's practice and all that stuff and spring games, but a pretty neat opener with Colorado. I mean, that's again for folks old enough. I can go back to that whole Georgia Tech Colorado tradition and history, split national titles and all that good stuff. But that's a fun game for us as fans. I know you're sitting there going, "I'm glad you think it's great. I got to go up against Coach Prime," but it's got to be cool for your team though to know that hey, that first one's going to mean something right from the get-go and a cool road trip.
Yeah, it is. It's good, to know that the nation's watching you. We really last year, coming out of at the end of the season, seeing what the TV ratings were for us, and that people enjoyed watching, the product we put on the field. It's exciting, and I'll tell you this, by the time we go to Boulder in late August, our team will know they'll know everything they need to know about 1990.
Yeah, I hear you about that. And again, I'm old enough to remember all of it, and it's going to be great. I love the fact the league has done a nice job from a scheduling perspective in weeks 1 and 2 with big time non-conference games. Now the object is to start getting a bunch of W's. And again, you're on that list, my friend. Be rooting for you. Be looking forward to seeing you and probably Amelia Island next month. But again, stay healthy, and it's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Appreciate it, Pack. Go Jackets.
You got it, Coach. Take care of yourself.